Hey, horror fans, it's Kane Hodder, better known as Jason from Friday the 13th, Victor Crowley from the Hatchet films, and many other violent movies. But I wanted to bring up something called Terrorthon 2023. They are raising money for cerebral palsy in Scotland. Please, please, please check out the description and give what you can. It's an important cause, and I'm all behind it. So thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of your days.
Boys and girls of every age, wouldn't you like to see something strange?
It's terror time again. Hello everyone, and welcome to Terrorthon 2023. For those who have just joined us for this annual event, we're going to be doing a video every single day on a different spooky Halloween or horror related topic. There will be a stream of a horror game every night possible during October, and a horror movie showing every single night in October as well. So, we're at video number 1 today, and we're going to examine Friday the 13th. No, not the movie franchise starring Jason Voorhees, but more the superstition surrounding Friday the 13th and why it exists. So, let's start right at the very beginning. So, before we even get to the number 13, we have to discuss the number 12. Now, Western cultures often associate the number 12 with a sense of completion. For example, we've got the 12 days of Christmas, we've got 12 months in the year, there were 12 gods of Olympus, and I'm sure if you sit down and think about it, you can come up with several more examples. Conversely, however, the number 13 is associated with bad luck. For example, there's the Code of Hammurabi, which was one of the earliest and most complete written legal codes proclaimed by the Babylonian king Hammurabi, who reigned from 1792 BC to 1750 BC. Interestingly, there was a 13th law omitted in this legal code. It was probably just an error, but a lot of people use it as proof of the negative association with Friday the 13th. And the number 13 even has its own funny phobia, which I will butcher the pronunciation of for you right now. Triskaidekaphobia. Something like that, right? So let's look at some examples of why the number 13 is considered so unlucky. Well, there were 13 guests at the Last Supper, and Christians to this day believe that 13 guests at a table is a bad omen which invites death. What about Friday? We've only covered 13 so far. Why is Friday so bad? Well, Jesus was crucified on a Friday, Eve gave Adam the apple from the tree of knowledge on a Friday, and Cain killed his brother Abel also on a Friday. But what about a link between the two? Well, you've probably heard of this origin for Friday the 13th. On October 1307, some officers of the French King Philip IV arrested hundreds of the Knights Templar who were formed to protect the Holy Land. They were a religious and military order, and the king wanted their financial resources, so he imprisoned them on various charges, and many were executed on Friday the 13th. So a lot of people point to this as the origin of the superstition. In the 1800s, a New York captain named William Fowler wanted to remove the stigma that surrounded the number 13. And how did he do this? He formed what he called the 13 Club. This club would dine on a 13-course dinner on the 13th day of every month in room 13 of a cottage that William Fowler owned. And they sat under a banner which read Morituri te salutimus, which is Latin for "Those of us who are about to die, salute you." 4 US presidents joined this 13 Club, and it endured for over 20 years. But does this superstition hold any weight? Has anything really bad actually ever happened on Friday the 13th? Yes, in fact it has. In September of 1940, Buckingham Palace was bombed. 300,000 people were killed in a Bangladesh cyclone on Friday the 13th, November 1970. Tupac Shakur was killed Friday the 13th, September 1996. And most recently and famously, the Costa Concordia crashed in Friday the 13th, January 2012. So there we go, a complete history of Friday the 13th, where it came from, why people believe it to be unlucky. And if you choose to do the same, perhaps there might be some merit to it. Who knows? See you tomorrow.